enumerable. Most in fact, all enumerables are collection, but not all collections are enumerable. Yeah, that's what we discussed last week and research on. So we talked about so we talked about it being the various types and one to know the others when we talk about a collection. So today we are going to be talking about access. If you go to a bank, yeah, let me use a bank for example, and you are a staff of that bank, you have access to some information based on your role or based on the kind of position you own in that bank. So if you don't have access now to a particular door and you carry out your ID card and you try to swipe in, it's going to do boom boom boom. It's going to make a detect a noise of rejection or not un unavailable access or invalid access. So when we're talking about access in Elixir now, we're talking about modules defining a behavior for a dynamically accessing keys of any type in a data structure by the data key syntax. So you see over here by this data key syntax, and access supports keyword lists and maps because keyword supports only atoms. Keyword supports only atoms keys. We said it the last time that when we're talking about keyword, we have key and value, and the key must always be an atom. So that's what they came here to tell us again, that keys only support atom, but map can be of any type. So if you're doing a map struct can be an atom, can be a string, can be an integer, it can play as a key. When you're doing keyword, expect the key to be an atom, but don't forget that access module defines behavior for dynamically accessing keys of any type in a data structure by the data key syntax. So we have a keyword of 1, 2, so if you do over A, we get the value which is 1. If you try to access the key of C, we get new because this key does not exist. But a map, this is also a map, and we can also interpolate the same way we get data in keyword. We can also get data in such way in map. This does not really require a lot of examples or practical examples, so I might not be doing a lot of practicals when we're talking about enumerable. But when we start using all this in various projects, you'll be seeing more practical examples of how this work, and you'll be seeing. So before we start doing projects and everything, we're going to be talking about errors. So when we see all those different errors when working in a project, we don't get panic attack and like yeah, we don't like get off. We try to solve it step by step. So don't worry. The more consistent and focused you are on doing something, the better you get. So don't beat yourself up. I think I'm telling myself this right now. Don't beat yourself up. You get better daily if you put in the work. If you don't get better by wanting to be better, you get better by putting the work. So let's continue, guys. So keyword A, B, keyword C, unknown. We still get new because such keys does not exist. So if you try to access any keys of a new value, it will always return new because it's not available. So last time we talked about map and struct. Yes, so we were able to talk about map and struct in our last video. So I won't dive into map or struct or updating. The access key can also, but because we're talking about access keys, so we're just going to see how map and struct is in line with access. While the access syntax is allowed a map via the map key, if your map is a made of a predefined atom key. You should prefer to access those atoms. So when we're talking about access key, that's why, because keywords are always accessed, they are always accessed, so that's why they are always in an atom. So a map, whenever you are placing an atom key in a map, is more of you're trying to access that key, you are trying to access that value based on the key, and a key is always an atom. So therefore, if you're going through that direction in a map, then that's when access comes into play. So we use get in. So if you see this user now, this is a what is this? This is a map. But if you want to think it, you might be like, oh, but it looks like a struct. But no, there's a difference between, if you want to do a struct, you call a struct, but this is a map. So we have John over here, and John has H, Meg has H. So like two different keys and values. So get in user john.age, we get 27, unknown.age, we get new, because there is no user of unknown. So instead of it to raise an error, it will give you an unknown. So you just go through, when you go through the documentation and you practice a lot, you get to understand more of the things, because we can't cover everything in this video or in all our videos. We can't give you everything, but we'll try to give you the basis and try to cover as much as we can, but we just can't cover everything. So if you look at this callback now, invoke in order to access the value stored under the key. Okay dot value. So this is an access. Okay, here is a tuple, this is the value. If it's error, you get error the reason why it happened. So over here we're trying to use it on this function. So there are so many examples they have given you over here. So you could play around with each of the examples and see this error for access the slice is expected in this but so there are so many errors that can, or when you pass in the wrong data type, you pass in the wrong value and everything. So this is an argument error. So when we're dealing with error, we try to explain what is an argument error and an example of it and how you can debug it. So stay tuned. Talking about its range, returns an inclusive range between dates. Ranges can be created with the date range or date.range. This is arguments to arity2 or arity3 function. The first is the initial date on the range, the last is the last date on the range. The step is version 1 point, the steps. And function for working with collection known as enumerables. So an enum is a function for working with collection known as enumerable. In Elixir, an enumerable is any data type that implements the enumerable protocol. So we talk about enumerable being any data type that implements the enumerable protocol. So what is the enumerable protocol? Enumerable protocol uses enum first as the first argument. Then it has a, should I say, as the first term. So they said function for working with collection known as enumerable is enum, and in Elixir, enumerable is any data type that implements the enumerable protocol. So enumerable protocol used by enum and string. When you invoke a function in the enum module, so enumerable protocol is used by enum. So we're talking about enum before we saw enumerable protocol. So we wanted to know what is enumerable protocol. So it's used by enum and string. And when you invoke a function in the enum module, the first argument is usually a collection that must implement this protocol. So in enum module, the first argument is the collection that must implement this protocol. For example, expression.enum.map. This is the first argument here. So this is a collection. Must implement what this map is trying to say. So let's see this in work now. Let's copy this and come over here, and when we play it, so we get 246. So let's break down this code now. First of all, this is an enum, and now we are trying to use the function of map. So an enum is a module that has various functions. So function for working with collection known as enumerables. So we can say an enum is a module that gives you function for working with collections. Can we put it that way? I think we can put it that way. So if we say, so this thing over here now, and guess what data type is this? What data type is this? Okay, people from JavaScript, I'm sure if I'm like, let's do it. I'm not going to call the data type in this video. So please, in the comment section, please tell me what data type you call this in your own programming language. Yeah. So we're going to say, I almost call it, no, I'm not going to call it. So we're going to say items. So I'm going to give it the value of, I'm going to call it a variable of items. So this item have 1, 2, 3 numbers. Now we're trying to say this is a map. So when we talk about map, we're not talking about the word map. No, we're talking about mapping something. So when you're mapping something, what are you trying to do? Even in the word map, what are you trying to do? You're trying to find a location. So you're saying there's a point 1, there's a point 2, and there's a point 3. So that's just like, in a sense, that's what a map does. So a map takes you from one location to another. So if I'm going from Bauchi, okay, I mean Lagos, and I want to visit Abuja, now there is various, this is a map now. So this is where I am. This is where I'm going to. So the map shows me the number of steps I need to take to reach where I'm going to. So I take step 1, I take step 2, I take step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, step 7 till I get to where I'm going to. So a map is a point that works as a direction leading you to a certain destination. So this is directions. Now when they are grouped together to lead you to a certain destination. So that's just what the map is. So in enum.map now, what we're trying to do over here is that we're trying to literate. Okay, we're trying to literate. Yeah, literate. We're trying to walk through 1, 2, 3 through these data values. Then whenever we get to point 1, we want to times it times 2. When we get to point 2, we want to times it times 2. When we go to point 3, we want to times it times 2. So if we do like this, now watch me. See, it's gonna throw an error. Because there's no way it can. So it's given for okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't put items. I lost it. So you see, a bad argument ijoma times 2, because ijoma is string. So how do you want to interpolate? So this is going to give you an arithmetic error because it's a bad argument. Ijoma over here, it's a string. It's a binary. So why are you now trying to times binary? So I'm doing like this and okay. I expect comma. So this is like, so it's better you just remove the value and let's have this. So you get 6, 10, 12. Because now, it gets, imagine I didn't want to retrade. I just wanted to get them back. So I'll get again now. Even if I put, I'm just trying to get the value back. I'm not doing anything else. I'm not doing anything. But if I do, so because the other increments are not string, so I still get error. So you have to know when you're trying to do with a number map, you have to know, oh, this data I'm passing, is it okay? Is this data value? Is this data type um can this data, is this data type kind of data I use if I'm trying to do an arithmetic operation? Oh, okay. When I'm trying to do a string, I'm trying to do a string interpolation. Do I do a string interpolation on a numbers? Okay, how does this work? Is it so? All this has to be like checked. So when you invoke a function in any module, the first argument is usually a collection, and we have seen it over there that must implement this protocol. For example, the expression num.map invokes enumerable to reduce underscore k. To perform the reducing operation, they have built a mapped list by calling the mapping function on every element in the collection and consuming the element with an accumulated list, as we have seen it play over there. So this one is another, this is what happened over there. This is what's going on when you do the map. So you carry this function over here, you iterate through all the whole function, then you reduce and then you do this the reverse. So this is a play of what happens when you do num.map. So we have reduced. So there's so many examples of enumerable over here. There's so many examples of enumerable. So it's better you go through this enumerable and also go through this enum. So we have seen what is an enumerable. Now we have enum.map that we have used over here. We have enum.sum. So when you talk about sum in mathematical terms, what is sum? Sum gives you a total summation, a total of whatever you are telling it to sum. So in this enum.sum, I say, okay, this is a data, this is our collectible. Give me a total of everything over here. So you do 1 plus 2 plus 3. So it gives you 6. Enum.map 1 to 3. And you're saying times it times 2. And you know 1 to 3 has 1, 2, 3. So it's give you 2, 4, 6. So that's what it gives you over here as the solution. 2, 4, 6. Then if you're doing enum.sum, you're just doing 1 plus 2 plus 3, and it will give you 6. Many other enumerable exist in the language, such as Mapsets, and the data array is returned by file true, which allows a file to be transferred as it was an enumerable. For a general overview of all functions in the enumerable, see the enum cheat sheet. So let's see the enum cheat sheet. I didn't even know there's an enum cheat sheet. So you see, I don't like, the more I told you, the more you study something, the better you become at it. So this is a cheat sheet of, so if you're working with an enum and you don't know how to use it, this is a cheat sheet of the various types of enum function, and it's so cool. You can see how to use them and the kind of values you get from them, how to concatenate. indexing finding. So when we are posting this YouTube video, I would remember to post the cheat sheet. Also, so you can also have that in your hand while studying this and while in around with doing various examples, because it's practical that makes the theory stick. So please do more practical work so that the theory aspect of what you're being, what you understand would stick right in. So we'll remember examples. So I have various examples too over there too. So you can play around with the various examples of so we were in and we've talked about keyword, we have talked about list. So we're going to go to Mapsets. I'm sorry if it looks like she's a bit fast. So if you have any questions, you can put them in the comment section. I'll be always reply to your comment. I'll always reply to your question. I'm always available for if you want me to explain something. It might not be related to Elixir, it might be related to another programming language that you just need an help with. Just dive me. Even if I can't help you, I would try to find any group that people in that group practice that programming language. Let's all grow together. Thank you. So a set is a data structure that can obtain unique elements of any kind without any particular order. Mapset is the go-to set data structure in Elixir. A set is a data structure that can contain unique data sets of any kind without any particular order. Mapset is the go-to. A set can be constructed using mapsets.new. So we use mapsets.new to construct a set. If you go to when you're doing sets in school, remember you use when you're doing sets, we have this big circle and this when we're doing sets in school, we do something like this. I've forgotten it in mass. Then you say, oh, one is the universal set, then we have subsets. So like when they are being joined, unity of sets and everything. We say a set is a collection of data, right? So like that mathematical meaning can also work here. So you say a set is a data structure. It's just the same thing. What is structure? Structure is like a building that contains something. So what they're saying is that a set is a collection of data that can contain unique elements of any kind without any particular order. So a map set is a go-to set data structure in Elixir, and we use mapset.new to create a set, to create a map set. So a map set, elements in a set don't have to be the same, and they can be populated from an enumerable using mapsets.new. So you see, they don't have to be the same data set, and you can use mapset.put to insert data. So when you go through all this thing, you become familiarized with it, and so this thing is like similar to what I was doing then in secondary school, similar to what I was doing there, because programming is building on instructions. So we use the mathematical, the theoretical aspect of all these things, and we build it together to build functions that plays out instructions. So whenever you're running a program, whenever you're building a set of code, you're telling the system to do some certain things in a certain manner at a particular period of time. So this particular time when you're using a map set, you're telling the system, oh, I'm creating a data structure of any unique kind of value. Okay, this is my map set. I'm calling mapset.new for you to use to create that map set, and calling mapset.insert for you to update the value in those map sets. There's mapset.delete, there's mapset.put in. So it's put is also used to insert values. So it's works all together. So this is going to be, we are coming to a close today of our YouTube video on Enum and Collectable. So we have not talked about range, we have not talked about string. So the next time we meet, we're going to talk about range, we're going to talk about string. Before we close enumerable for now, like we are closing it for now, because the truth about it is that you don't close anything you learn, because you keep using it daily. You keep building on it and you keep getting better. Thank you for always sticking with us. We always love to have you here. Thank you. Bye.